The Galaxy Z Flip 5 has proven to be a really fun smartphone to use. A flip foldable form factor, say that 5 times fast, that makes things feel delightfully different than your usual bar phones, but this year, Samsung added way more screen to the outside. And as a result, it is a flip phone that sometimes doesn't even need to be flipped. But after quite some time with this phone sitting easily in my pocket, I do have some thoughts. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here's what worked and what didn't with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. It's been a while since I've done a format like this, so if you're happy to see this long-form review format come back, hit that like button below, sound off in the comments, and subscribe, because I'm doing quite a few of these what worked and what didn't videos in the coming weeks. Samsung has really managed to improve upon the long-running flip phone design of theirs, incorporating a larger screen while maintaining its familiar form otherwise. It also has proper water resistance with an IPX8 rating. See, this is just peace of mind for users who might encounter water-related accidents or spills, whether the phone is open or closed. There have been some concerns about the long-term durability of folding phones, but I can personally attest that I have not experienced any of those problems with my Flip 5. The hinge has been updated so that it is strong throughout its axis, allowing the phone to stay practically at any angle. This does make it convenient for finding the perfect viewing position if you're viewing things like YouTube or even Netflix. And opening up the Galaxy Z Flip 5 to reveal the classic bar smartphone configuration is still a satisfying experience. Even though I'm using my thumb and thus my nail to really flip the phone open, nothing feels precarious or unstable. But then the Galaxy Z Flip 5 introduces the Flex window, a larger cover display that revolutionizes the flip foldable experience. Revolutionize might be a bit of a strong term, but honestly, it does really add to how you use this phone. After all, it offers a wide range of new possibilities that were before unimaginable with traditional flip phones. The Flex window provides convenient access to important information, allowing users to just take a look at everything at a glance. It can be personalized to reflect one's own personal style and preferences with a bunch of different wallpapers and whatnot that you can actually customize even with your own pictures, so you can make the phone feel like a true expression of yourself. The marquee feature, though, is the ability to run full applications on the cover display. Initially, there were some limitations in terms of app availability because you only got like a handful of them in the labs area of the settings, but the Good Lock app allowed users to explore and open practically any app on the Flex window, so a little bit of tinkering really went a long way. And although the aspect ratio of the Flex window may sometimes result in kind of distorted apps or elements being covered up, the overall benefits of this feature remain really impressive. The Flex window is particularly well suited for monitoring services like Uber Eats or Google Maps, as well as enjoying media on platforms like YouTube. Responding to messages or emails entirely on the cover display may require some adjustment, but switching to the classic style configuration by opening the phone will easily solve that problem. It's also worth noting that calls can be taken when the phone is used, and that uses the speakerphone in order to make that happen. It's understandable that only some applications were available out of the box since this is the first generation of the feature. Hopefully, it will continue to evolve and improve with each iteration, but the aspect ratio might make that a little bit tough to do over the next number of years. This is just not going to be perfect for every single app. Overall, the Flex window just opens up whole new ways of using a flip foldable form factor, making it a crowd pleaser, but it may not be suitable for everyone. So here's the thing, when you put a bigger screen on the cover of a flip phone, you're essentially exposing more vulnerable surface area. I get it, it's probably not that hard to keep things like this safe, but part of the appeal of flip phones is that the big screen is better protected when you fold the phone completely closed. Also, isn't that the whole reason why being able to fully close the phone was a proper upgrade? But now that there's this new larger cover display, both users and Samsung have to deal with some of the more delicate aspects of this experience. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't help but feel that there are some people out there who are perfectly fine with little to no screen on the cover. Technically, I am not one of those people, but I can understand where that sentiment might come from. And if that is you, definitely let me know in the comments downstairs. See, for users like that, it's about the simplicity and minimalism of being able to put the phone away. It's all part of a flip phone experience, right? That being said, it's still nice to have a phone that can fold away neatly. It just means that there are a few things to consider when the screen is exposed to keys or coins in the same pocket. You just gotta be careful with that. Well, the tea is ready. I didn't realize that was the alarm sound for the timer that I had. Today's tea is from Harney & Sons. This is the Earl Grey that you can find in many of your local supermarkets. I do love a good Earl Grey, a black tea that will give you a little bit more caffeine, but then it is also mixed with bergamot, so you have a lot of those floral notes and also a bit of a citrusy taste along with the black tea. One thing I really appreciate is that the bags are made of nylon rather than straight up paper, so you're not imparting much of that paper tea bag into the flavor of your tea. But before I get too far into the details of the tea, you'll notice that I did use the timer using the flex window. So it's a really nice way of just getting to some really quick things without even having to open up the phone. And speaking of this flex window, why not provide a little bit more protection for the screen that's on the outside of the phone, courtesy of today's sponsor, Spigen. Spigen have been around for a long time, making great cases and accessories for many devices, and their lineup for the Galaxy Z Flip 5 are among some of my favorites. The case that has been on my Flip 5 the most lately is the Tough Armor Pro. You can see here, it gives a lot of protection, but it also includes a very handy kickstand, so that I can actually watch stuff on the phone in the main display rather than just having to rely on flexing the phone by using half of the main display or the flex window. That outer display does crave some extra protection though, and Spigen have the Glaster Easy Fit screen protector that comes complete with the tools needed to put it on just right. Other cases include the Thin Fit Pro, which keeps things pretty minimal while still showing off whatever color you might have of the Galaxy Z Flip 5. And much like the Tough Armor Pro, the Thin Fit Pro comes with hinge protection, protecting one of the most important parts of the Galaxy Z Flip 5. And then there's the popular Airskin in Spigen 01 design that again keeps things pretty slim but has a cool design showing basically what the internals would be underneath the surface, like the wireless charging coil. There are plenty of accessories to choose from beyond just smartphone protection, so be sure you use my link in the description to see Spigen's catalog for yourself and find the right items for yourself. Thanks again to Spigen for sponsoring this video and for letting me get some extra protection for my Galaxy Z Flip 5. Again, check the links down in the description to find all of these cases, the screen protector, and more. And with that, let's get back to the video. The Galaxy Z Flip 5 does deserve credit for nailing the essentials. It comes equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, delivering plenty of power for all of the apps and games. The Full HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED display boasts a 120Hz refresh rate, although the cover display is limited to 720p resolution itself. Despite the absence of DeX, the phone does offer display output from this USB-C port, which itself also supports 25-watt wired charging. You also have the convenience of wireless charging. The 3700 mAh battery in here offers similar longevity to last year's model, possibly slightly better due to the updated processor. But at its core, the Galaxy Z Flip 5 is a reliable and high-performing smartphone that can easily fit in your pocket. So if you're in the market for a solid phone but want something, let's say, different for a change, this might be the way to go. Now we can talk about the cameras. They do offer a good experience for most users, even if the cameras themselves are not very, let's say, exceptional. With 12 megapixel sensors comprising the main and ultra-wide cameras here on the rear, zooming is just not going to be a priority. I mean, there's no telephoto lens on here. The 10 megapixel front-facing camera within the inner display is handy for like video calls and maybe some hands-free shots, but the real story with the Flip is the ability to use the rear cameras as your primary cameras. This form factor does allow for a fun shooting experience, from using the rear display as a viewfinder for photos, portraits, and 4K video vlogging, to capturing group shots with just a nice wave to the camera. The cameras work well enough for everyone except professionals, producing pleasing pictures that are great for sharing on social media or with friends. And personally, I found myself constantly using or having the Galaxy Z Flip 5 on me because it was just easy to carry around, and it did get the job done as long as the lighting was really good. But that's the thing about Flip foldables and their cameras. If you're someone who wants top quality camera hardware or the latest features, Flip foldables just might not be the best option for you. We're starting to see some progress with telephoto lenses on other Flip smartphones, but it's still challenging to fit high-powered hardware into such a small size. I don't know, maybe one day we'll see a thick Flip that goes all out and throws caution to the wind, having a huge camera bumper or something like that, certainly at least a bigger battery. But for now, Flip smartphone cameras lack proper optical zoom and can struggle in low-light situations, relying heavily on night mode to compensate. Let's be realistic, unlike certain other, let's say, high-end flagship smartphones, Flip phone cameras won't replace dedicated point-and-shoot or mirrorless cameras anytime soon. Those phones would have to be really chunky and priced quite a bit higher than most casual users would be comfortable with. However, I have to admit, I'd be willing to try one of those out. Okay, I have a rather consistent, arguably minor gripe with most Samsung devices. You probably know where I'm going with this. You're always faced with the choice between Google's software suite or Samsung's own, like over here, and many of the same tools happen to just be installed right alongside each other. Personally, I end up installing things like Gboard or Google Calendar, and I use Google Assistant way more than Bixby. Now, I understand that there are people who are actually in the Samsung ecosystem with things like their smartwatches or even some of their smart home stuff, and that makes the integrations make more sense with Samsung software. But even Samsung themselves are very close with Google, like on the wearable side and clearly here on the phone side, so it's a little bit of like mixed identity. It's true that any phone has features and software that aren't used and might just collect dust. I used to call this part Galaxy syndrome, but there's a bit more to it now. It just might take a little bit of work, especially for newer users, to figure out what works best for them. Like if you happen to be entrenched in some other ecosystem, even if it's outside of Google, making all of that sync up to the way Samsung does things or going all in on Samsung just takes a little bit of extra work that I feel like could be a bit overwhelming. But overall, the Galaxy Z Flip 5 brings a major upgrade that has caught the attention of many, enticing them to try out a flip phone for the first time in years. While the rest of the phone offers the same performance and reliability that Samsung is known for, it's the flip form factor that just sets it apart. It's also good to have so many options in terms of style and accessory support, which is evident in Samsung's own commitment to the Flip with a wide range of colors and customizable cases. I can't even help but have envy for the special edition yellow phone that my partner has, but we can always just blend style and function with cases like from Spigen. We are past the point of saying foldables are in their infancy. We're now in a more matured state in the category, and for many people this could be the perfect time to give a foldable phone a try. Samsung may not have completely reinvented the wheel with the Galaxy Z Flip 5, but it has definitely opened up way more possibilities. And so, there you have it, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. Just some thoughts from me. I have been opening and closing this phone so much during the making of this video. It's just a great showing from Samsung, and a great example of what is now possible with a throwback form factor given modern upgrades. Let me know, do you have a Galaxy Z Flip 5? Let me know what your experience has been like in the comments downstairs. And maybe an even more interesting question, are you even using a foldable yet? Let me know why or why not down in the comments too. A big thanks once again to Spigen for partnering with me on this video. Make sure to check out their accessories for the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and more in the links found in the description below. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.